it's Melissa Kerner from friendyourbody.com, the place to take charge of your health and transform your life. And today we're going to do something a little bit different, and I'm going to be answering a question from one of our subscribers. So this is from Katie, and she writes, "Hi Melissa, in accordance with the 80-20 rule, I gave myself a break at lunch today and had a few things I really had been wanting. A grilled cheese sandwich on white bread and some cookies. While I was enjoying this little variation from my new healthy eating ways, I noticed that I was short of breath and that my heart was racing. Is this a normal reaction? Have any of other members experienced a similar reaction? Now, I'm a protein type and I've been eating balanced whole foods for the past 4 days, and this was my first variation from the plan. Thanks, Katie." So this is a great question, and I think it's something that a lot of people can relate to. So first of all, if you don't know what Katie means by the 80-20 rule, this is something that I teach a lot of my clients, and it's something that I myself live by. It's just very simple. It's eating clean, whole foods 80% of the time. So that sort of gives you 20% to sort of deviate, if you will, or how I like to call them non-ideal foods. So Katie is clearly using her 20% to have the grilled cheese and cookies. And you'll notice that Katie also mentions that she's a protein type. So what Katie did was she took what's called a metabolic typing assessment, and this is something that I encourage all of my clients to do, and I encourage a lot of my subscribers to do, because it's a great assessment tool to help you sort of create a baseline for determining how to balance your meals. So it gives you sort of a good general starting point for learning how to balance your macronutrients, your proteins, your fats, and your carbs. So that's what she means by those things. So here's my response to the question. It's very common once you start eating clean to experience a negative reaction when you start reintroducing, foods that are sort of not part of your ideal food plan, right? Which ideally would be, low glycemic fruits and vegetables, good quality animal proteins, like eggs and poultry, and, good quality grass-fed beef and, organic nuts and seeds. When you start sort of going from the whole foods to incorporating the refined foods again, it's common to experience negative reactions. So what Katie is describing here, there could be a number of things going on. The first thing to think about is that a grilled cheese and cookies are highly refined carbohydrates, and they convert to sugar very quickly in the system. So, she could be experiencing this blood sugar crash. And that's typically what happens when you have refined foods. They sort of give you this surge of energy briefly, and then you have a crash. So she could be dealing with some sort of a blood sugar reaction or hypoglycemia. And oftentimes, again, when you start eating clean, you may not notice these things, before you start eating clean. Sometimes it takes cleaning up the system to really sort of get your body balanced again in order to be able to pick up on these things. So that's the first consideration. My other thought is that she could be experiencing some sort of food sensitivity, even maybe an allergic reaction, or she could have a food intolerance. And gluten and dairy are two of the top allergens. I myself am sensitive to them, so I really don't eat them anymore, because when you have a food allergy or a sensitivity, the 80-20 rule kind of goes out the window. You don't want to eat foods even 20% or 10% of the time that you are sensitive or allergic to, because it's going to trigger some long-term health problems. So there are a couple different ways that are really simple to address for sure whether or not you're sensitive to something or allergic or intolerant to it. You can actually get a food allergy test, which is a blood panel. The downside of that is that it costs money, and it takes your time, right? Because you have to take the time to do it. And the other issue is that it isn't always 100% accurate, so you can get a false negative. What I find to be the most practical way to address sensitivities, allergies, and intolerances is to just do an elimination diet. And I recommend doing that for 30 days. So what you would do is you would eliminate any and all potential offending foods. Any foods you suspect you could possibly be sensitive to, eliminate them for 30 days, and then slowly add one of them back in at a time. Because if you add 3 or 4, you do the dairy and the gluten at the same time, you're not going to know which one you're sensitive to. This is something, quite honestly, that I have all of my clients do at some point in their coaching. I don't necessarily have them start there, but when they're ready mentally, emotionally, and physically, I do have them do a 30-day elimination diet because it's so common to be sensitive to foods and you don't really know until you take them out, which is the case for me. I didn't know that I was sensitive to dairy and gluten until I completely took them out of my diet, and then I really paid attention to how I felt. So that is my answer to Katie's question. I hope that that was helpful. I'd love to hear from you now. If you could tell me a little bit about how you've started to make some changes in your diet, and I'd love for you to share any changes that you started to notice, positive or negative. All you have to do is head over to friendyourbody.com and leave your comment there. I'd love to hear from you. And if you liked today's post and you found it helpful, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and be sure to share it with your friends and family. And if you want more resources from me on how to take charge of your health and transform your life and get some personal insights from me that I only share through email, make sure that you head over to friendyourbody.com and sign up for our free weekly health, fitness, and nutrition tips and recipes. So as always, I encourage you to stay focused on yourself and continue to make small and simple and sustainable healthy lifestyle changes so that you can look and feel your absolute best. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to talking with you again soon. All right, have a great day.